NERDVENGERS, visitors to the tower. We'll be live very shortly. If you could tap that like button, it would mean a lot. Do it. Do it now. As we get started, I'd like you to let me know in the chat, on a scale from 1 to 10, what is your hype level for the Episode 5 Cameo? What is your hype level? Alright, slow down. I can't see. Go slower. One at a time. Jeez. Okay. So, Paul, my friend.
Yes.
Where's your current hype level for episode 5 Cameo action?
Action, or just in general?
Well, I guess
think action.
Yeah.
Probably 5 out of 5. General storyline. I'm okay. Maybe 3. I hope they don't sit around just in someone's hotel room talking again for 45 minutes. But action, yeah, love it.
Yeah.
Couldn't get better.
Yeah. I agree with you. I was saying, I forget what stream it was on, but I kind of made a comment where I was like, I don't want another therapy show. You know what I mean? Like, just being honest, like, there were some elements of WandaVision that were really cool in that regard. There are certainly elements in Falcon and Winter Soldier. The therapy scene with Bucky was incredible.
Loved it.
But frankly, I read my comics for some smashy, and I need a little bit more smashy myself. But
yeah, that's it. I think that's the thing with the episodes getting longer every week. You kind of the action's the same amount, but the episodes are getting longer. Yeah. So the bits in between the action are a lot longer as well. First episode, those first 11 minutes or whatever, where he's fighting in the sky and stuff, really great. And then, the more the episodes have gone on, they've sort of scaled back the action, I feel.
Yeah.
Like, for example, the first episode, obviously that big sky fight. Second episode was the semi-trucks.
Yeah.
Third episode, I can't even remember. What was it?
It was Zemo. It was It was like the Zemo fight with the explosions on the dock and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I mean, it was basically Sharon's action episode, really.
Yeah. And episode 4 had its bits, but I want to see Falcon doing stuff again.
Yeah.
I want to see him flying through the Grand Canyon, going next to the Libyan border, in the air, flying into one airplane, jumping out of it, flying into a helicopter. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That was really good.
Yeah.
But now it's all just kind of very grounded fights, and I think that's purely because Bucky is with Sam, so they've kind of thought, in what way can these two fight together? Because Sam can fight in the air and on the ground, whereas Bucky's sort of limited.
Yeah.
But action, quite hyped for it. I'm guessing you've watched the latest trailer?
Yes. I
What did you think of that?
So I think it's cool. Frankly, I found it weird that they called it a mid-season trailer, right?
Yeah, very weird.
Yeah, it
like,
seemed...
We're at episode 5, mate.
I know, right? So I was like, okay, that's a little weird. And it wasn't just people at Disney saying it. It's like on the thing, like it's in the title. So I was like, what does that mean? Does that indicate then that half of their story or half of the juice of this thing is left in 2 episodes? Is that, or do you think, like, was that their intention to sort of let that be known? Or
I think mid-season is just a term that is easy to use, because how else would you describe, being at episode 4 with 5 and 6 left? What quick phrase would you use for that? Like, I'll use the phrase ending explained, but I'll describe the whole episode. You know what I mean? It's just ending explained is just a term that's really easy to kind of gather what they're talking about. And I think it's the same with that. I don't know how else you would describe and get your point across in as fewer words as possible other than mid-season trailer.
Yeah, I think that's a fair point. Yeah, certainly a fair point. It just struck me as pretty weird, and it felt like maybe just unique to my perspective on the show. It felt particularly weird. It was almost like a dig in, you know what I mean? Like, oh, this is your mid-season, you know what I mean? It's like, what, mid-season? 2/3 of the way through?
Yeah, and you don't know what the runtime's going to be either. They could do like a 2-hour final episode.
That would be
incredible.
I think the
next episode's going to be 1 hour long.
Yeah, I think the mods on the Marvel Studios subreddit said it 61 minutes is what they have it clocked at.
So about 7 minutes of credits.
Yeah.
Probably about 3 minutes of previously on Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and then probably 2 minutes of the Marvel Studios logo coming in.
Yeah, the fanfare.
So probably about 50 minutes,
Yeah.
But I prefer the shorter episodes, to be honest. I like the WandaVision lengths.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people but I just find these a bit more draining. I don't know if it's because I'm sat there watching and typing a script out.
Yeah.
But I just find it a bit more draining almost. I flick through the episode before it starts. So with WandaVision, I would watch the episode twice. But with these being 50 minutes long, I don't really have the time to do that. So I tend to flick through it at the start, see what plot points are going to come up, kind of formulate how I'm going to write certain things, see if I can spot the foreshadowing in it. And that's kind of how I do it. So, yeah, I just find it a bit draining with it being so long. And I think it's the slower scenes really hold it back.
Yeah.
And I kind of wish they would cut those down quite a lot, because there's just so much like sitting in hotel rooms or sitting in therapy rooms or sitting in holding cells or sitting on airplanes. And I just kind of would have preferred 20-minute set pieces.
I 100% agree. Yeah.
The plot's not that crazy.
No, it's really not. It feels like there's a lot of character like development that almost seems overdone. Like I feel like frankly we have a lot of this established for these characters already, and it seems like they're going to great lengths, almost like they imagine a lot of people that are not familiar with the MCU or these characters from comics are watching, which maybe is fair, but like it really does drag. And I had a thing I wanted to talk to you about. We sort of been talking back and forth on Twitter about this, but the whole idea of the virus plot, right? The virus plot, and possibly, I don't know this to be 100% correct, but people are telling me that it was like, this is why they had to remove it, that it wasn't just a virus, it was something that the government did to like try to handle some of the problems of the blip when the population just came back all crazy, right? Okay. So like basically like Disney was like, whoa, way too close to some conspiracies that people have about, you know, Rona Babona. So that's why they had to rip it out. Now, one of the things that I'm kind of interested in is if that is true, do we think that even some of the action is getting ripped out of the show?
Yeah, probably. That makes more sense. Yeah, definitely. Because some of the scenes feel like they could have cut bits out, and they would have cut bits out had they not been pushing for longer runtimes.
Right.
Yeah, I definitely feel that's probably right. But we don't know what that plot is, so it's kind of difficult to judge.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so was this always meant to be 6 episodes long as well?
I believe so. But
right, okay.
But therein sort of lies another question for me is like, are we getting fluffed up episodes because they said they'd be an hour in length? Then after they ripped out the virus thing, they were like, well, we still want to hit those hour in lengths, but we have to get... I just feel like, frankly, the show... I see a lot of cracks, and it's okay. Like, I'm not trying to sit up here and be like, it's the worst thing ever, Marvel's over. It's a good show. I actually really like the show. I think that people get it twisted because my like anticipation or like the bar I have for Marvel is so incredibly high, and frankly don't feel like moving that bar down. They have done that, you know, they set my expectation by being the incredible brand that they've been. So for me, seeing all these cracks in the show and understanding some of the stuff that's happened behind the scenes, it's disappointing, but also it might be the best that they could have done. You know what I mean? Given all the confusion and complications.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, and just certain moments in it spring to mind, like Zemo going to those kids with the sweets and saying, blah, 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 find out this thing. Don't trust them over there. I thought, all right, something's going to come up where Sam and Bucky are going to ask those kids about something, and they're not going to tell them, and that's going to allow Zemo to do something on top of that. But that never happened. So it was pretty weird to have even included it. So yeah, I mean, it would be interesting to see. I think the show still works, but having this meta knowledge, you do kind of see, well, what the hell is the point in that scene? Yeah, a lot of the times. And clearly they've left certain bits. I'm sure, you know, making videos, you'll record something and then you'll think, probably should take that bit out.
Oh yeah,
but it'll have something else in the sentence that you need to have in to explain the next bit.
Yeah.
And it's just like, oh, well, I can't be bothered recording that, I'll just leave it all in. And I've removed massive chunks of videos sometimes because I've just thought none of this works. And it's been purely just to take out one point, but it's had such a knock-on effect to everything else that it's kind of like, ugh.
Yeah.
So shout out to the editor who's handling all this, who's having to make a cohesive storyline with a big part of it missing.
Yeah, in fact, it might be like a champion level effort that you and I are like just casually crapping on. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's this like monumental thing that they accomplished to make it all work.
Yeah.
So
maybe that's why they're kind of these later, because I'm guessing the first episode didn't need anything removed, because that's kind of where you start to set things up in a TV show and you can leave mysteries there. But the later episodes, when they have massive scenes with people just sitting in rooms talking for 10 minutes, I'm guessing that stuff won't be that difficult to reshoot.
Right.
So that might be the stuff that they've had to go back and redo. But yeah, interesting.
Yeah.
Because you're trying to figure it out as well. Because there was a big part in episode 2 when Bucky got on the semi-truck and there was a big storage unit saying vaccines. And that's just never come back up again.
And it never will.
Yeah, they said the super soldier serum was in that, but we know that there's only about 8 vials of it. So it wasn't in that big storage container, because you could carry it around in a little purse.
Yeah.
So
Yep. And it's okay though. You know what I mean? Like, again, we're not trying to crap on it, but I think that for people like us, it's an interesting situation because like we are super plugged in, you know, because of the nature of spoiler culture and just trying to, I mean, I'm obsessed, you know what I mean? I want to know what's going on. I love thinking 10 steps out. I love speculating about the Dark Avengers, the Thunderbolts, you know, Secret Wars. That's part of the fun for me. And a lot of people obviously have fun going along with us on this journey. So, you know, the numbers are there. Like, it's just, there's where the interest lies. And I think there's another aspect to this, of course, that has to do with the boner of it all. And we're also in the wake of WandaVision. And I can't help but think that the way that WandaVision ended, which again, at least in part, was because of the pandy. You know what I mean? Like, it's pretty well established that Doctor Strange was supposed to be in some of those episodes, but they couldn't handle it because of the pandy. So, I guess what do you make of that? Because I have fans basically telling me like, "Hey, you're being unreasonable. Like, you're being a bit butthole about it." But then I have other fans that are like really upset about what happened with the boner. I mean, frankly, I'm not over the boner. You know what I mean? And so I don't know if you can help me out, or if you have some words of wisdom, you know?
Yeah, it kind of killed my hype as well, because I realized that these, as much as Kevin Feige said that these shows, you're going to have to see them to watch the MCU films, I don't think that's the case at all. I think WandaVision, you could easily skip that and just go straight from the ending of Endgame into Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. I mean, they could just have Wanda depressed at the end of that film, and then Doctor Strange shows up, finds her in a cabin studying that Darkhold.
Yeah.
And that's all you need. And you just say, "What you been doing out here?" She's like, "I've been making kids and stuff and trying to bring Vision back to life." And that's all you need to say. And you don't need WandaVision at all. And I think Falcon and the Winter Soldier is going to end with Sam becoming Captain America. Obviously, I mean, I've seen some of the toy leaks, and they've spoiled that already. So you can probably go from the ending of Avengers Endgame, where Steve gives Sam the shield, and then just into the next thing and be like, well, yeah, he's always been Captain America. You never thought about giving that up. So my disappointment for it's quite high. I think Loki will be interesting because it's often an alternate timeline, so they're not beholden to the main one. But I kind of feel like these shows are just going to be supplementary material that you don't need. They're not required reading, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and you know what? To be honest with you, like I feel the same way, but I'm also like really hoping that I'm wrong. And so I think part of it is like if most of this is what I think Marvel is a little bit screwing up in this situation is because of their lack of openness about what was going on and like how perhaps bad the production was for them and how much they're actually shifting around. Because I also think there's stuff going on with the Sony stuff that like we're just not privy to, which is fine. But I think there might be way more chaos over there than we're aware of. And while they just try to hide it because they want to have this proper front that everything is fine, the fandom and the internet is well past that. We know, and we're so plugged in and we're so smart that if the studio were to just maybe be a little more transparent, I honestly think people would be forgiving. I think people would be forgiving, and it's the fact that they're not, and they're acting like this is all fine. I mean, think about what's going on right now in this conversation. You and I are basically about to admit that we think the Marvel shows, based on the ones we've seen with our own eyes, are less of a caliber than the MCU cinema content, and we actually don't even think you need to watch them. I don't think that's what Marvel wants. I think they want us to be saying like, no, this stuff's incredible, it's well thought out, it's connected to everything. And so what I'm saying, Feige, if you're watching, is that if there's issues, man, and if there's problems, and if this is not the if these two shows do not properly represent like what Loki could be, what Moon Knight could be, what these other shows might be, I think that needs to be said. I think that needs to be put out there for the fans. Otherwise, I think we have no choice, Paul, but to go sort of with what you're explaining.
DC, go to DC. Is that what you're saying? We'll go over there now.
It's a Snyder Cut channel now.
Go.
It's a Snyder Cut channel now.
Yeah, and it's a shame saying that because obviously I think the shows are still really good. I just don't think they're integral, and it's not. I don't feel like there's consequences there, if that makes sense. And that is purely because of the Boner thing, which they got Evan Peters back, knowing that people were going to speculate about the X-Men coming back too, and then we're like, actually, no, it's a completely different character. You idiot. And I felt like they kind of talked down to the fans about that as well, like made us feel stupid for ever thinking that was going to happen.
Right.
It's like, well, what
did you expect?
Yeah. Like, oh, you guys, you built your hopes up too much, thinking Evan Peters playing Pietro. You thought he was going to be Quicksilver, you moron.
Right.
So that kind of killed the hype a bit. I think John Walker probably will become a big character. But again, you could just introduce him in a film and just say, this is US Agent now. He's sort of a twisted Captain America. You don't need to know any of the stuff in Falcon and the Winter Soldier at all to know that.
I know.
I don't think the Flag Smashers are coming back. I think they'll be done.
God, I hope
Power Broker will probably become a villain, but I can see them being a villain that sticks to the TV shows and doesn't really appear in the movies. I can see the Power Broker getting teased and then occasionally popping up, but I don't think there'll be a big thing in the films. But I don't know. But that's just how I feel. That's how I feel watching it. Yeah,
this is how we feel. It's just how we feel, guys. You understand? Now that we've said all that, though, let's get way too hyped up and excited about this episode 5 cameo. So it's a female Wolverine confirmed, guys. That's what we've got for you, okay?
What?
Female blonde Wolverine that's not blonde.
How is Hugh Jackman going to pull that off?
They said the same thing about when he was regular Wolverine, Paul. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
these fans have no faith in the ability of this guy. So female Wolverine as Hugh Jackman, going to be incredible. But on a serious note, what do you make of this? You and I have been speculating a lot, and the one
we've
thing
been digging. We've not been just speculating.
We've been going
actively asking people behind the scenes, like, you better tell me, man. Come on, just tell me.
But it's funny that
I can't tell you.
I'm hitting some walls, brother. I'm hitting some walls. So that's another thing I kind of wanted to talk about is that for whatever reason, they seem to be extra tight-lipped about this. Absurd, because I don't think it's actually that big of a cameo.
Yeah, I think it's more of a cool meta joke, probably, is what I would imagine it is. I don't think it's going to be integral to the plot. I think it's just going to be an actor that pops up. Everyone has a bit of a laugh about it, and then, or they go, "Ooh, that's cool," and then it's like, actually, no, it's not. It's not Hugh Jackman. It's Hugh Jass. It's Hugh Jackman playing a character called Hugh Jass. Sorry, I'm just plugging my charger in there.
Oh, it's all good.
So yeah, I think. Yeah, we Marvel have been totally different in their approach with these shows, because they've given early access to quite a lot of people. I didn't get early access to WandaVision, and then I think when I started covering it and stuff started trending and doing well, I was speaking to people at Disney, and they're like, "Oh, thanks for covering the show. We thought you were just going to spoil the thing every week and just report loads of plot leaks.
Yeah.
But you've just covered it and just said that's it. So have Falcon and the Winter Soldier episode 1 free. Watch it early. So I watched that, and I've noticed that they've done it with a lot of scoopers as well. I know Charles Murphy, he knows who, I haven't spoken to him, but from what he's posted, I know he knows who the Cameo is.
Yeah.
Now, in the past, with his website, I'm sure he would have just posted an article saying, I've learned that this is the person who is the Cameo. Whereas now he seems a lot more tight-lipped about it. So I think Marvel have done quite a clever job of just getting people like myself who go out, we'll ruin everything. I don't care. I'll ruin the end of Endgame for everyone. And they've kind of brought us under the umbrella and gone, well, if you don't do that, we'll give you some stuff early. And because I know Charles got to see things early as well and interview people. So it's kind of difficult to be given all these opportunities and then turn around and go, well, here's the big surprise. I'm going to ruin it for you. So it's quite smart by the studio. But because of that, I'm just hitting a brick wall after brick wall.
Yeah.
Even I basically got sent an email last year, which I pretty much ignored at the time, which I shouldn't have. It said, look, there's something big's happening in Falcon and the Winter Soldier. There's going to be a blonde woman's being spotted on set. She's going to be a big Marvel character. Now, because of all this cameo talk, I just automatically thought, oh, that's the big cameo. It's a blonde woman. So I posted that out. Reddit got a hold of it. And then I got speaking to a lot of people, and they're like, I don't know where you've heard that, but it's not a blonde woman. But there might be a blonde woman in it who I think might be Florence Pugh, but I don't know. But even the people who knew it, I was saying, well, is it a blonde woman? And they were saying, no. I was like, well, who is it then? I'm not telling you.
Right.
I was like, what? Why not? You would have told me 5 months ago.
That's what I'm saying.
What's happened, brother? What's
know.
going on?
I know.
I won't even make a video on it. I just want to know.
I know. That's it. Yeah. So, I mean, okay.
Very
so
tightly.
There's a lot going on. So, first of all, when it comes to the cameo, I mean, look, I'm the type of guy that's like, I believe in being honorable. You know what I mean? Like the way you and I met was through the Grogu stuff. And like you and I both had the opportunity that week to scream to the high heavens and sort of put that cloud out there and really try to, there was opportunities there. I remember I had videos planned that I canceled. I canceled videos because I didn't want to ruin it for John and Dave. You know what I mean? So it's like I'll play ball, but it's a thing about respect. You know what I mean? And it feels like there's something else going on now where it's not like a tit for tat kind of situation, and it really is like a sort of flexing and a squeeze out. And I feel like I don't feel like it's a squeeze out. You don't think so?
I think it's just I think it's just more of kind of don't shoot yourself in the foot sort of thing, where it's like, look, you could tell people he's Cameo, but we've given you this trust. Just please don't. I don't think Kevin Feige is going to show up to my house if I find out who the Cameo is and kill me. He'll probably just say, well, don't give that guy early access again. Yeah, and I'm guessing that will be what's happening with other people.
Yeah, I guess what I mean is I feel like there's a concerted effort. I really do feel like there is a concerted effort to consolidate the sort of voices of authority for these kind of things. I mean, there's a lot of like weird things going on too, even in like Star Wars scoops and stuff like that. Like there's people, like really good sources that are now giving info and scoops to like other people and not running stuff themselves. And I'm like, what's that about? I do think like it's possible that even the situation with WandaVision really created a headache of a situation for Marvel, which I think would totally be unfair again, because the boner situation, that's completely on them in my opinion. But I do think it's possible that they're really unhappy with the way that I guess influencers have been talking about WandaVision and possibly even Falcon and the Winter Soldier. You know what I mean? And I don't think...
How would you mean?
I'm sorry?
See, I thought they would be quite happy with the reaction, but it's always just the kind of thing of we want more or we expected more.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like the situation with WandaVision is so backwards because, frankly, that show on face value is not as hyped up or as entertaining as influencers made it. Like, frankly, like you and new rock stars and people like us, I think we frankly entertained Marvel fans on a week-to-week basis way more than the actual content that Marvel Studios put out. I'm being 100% serious, like that, and that's real talk. And I don't know.
It was me. I was the reason for its success,
dude. That's literally what I'm saying to you. I think that you underestimate the what you actually did for that show.
It was nothing to do with Elizabeth Olsen, and if she gets an Emmy, give it to me.
Otherwise, give it to Paul, Lizzie. Do the right thing.
No, I think it was good. I think without me, it still would have gotten the viewing figures that it did. But like I said before, I don't think the shows are as integral as they were made out to be. So because of that, you kind of feel like, oh, well, did I need to watch this? And did I need to listen to this guy talk about Mephisto every week for 45 minutes? Probably not.
But did you enjoy it? Did you enjoy yourself?
Did you enjoy it?
Yeah.
Did you enjoy the time? Exactly.
Did you enjoy the time? Yeah. No, I mean, I don't know, man. There's a lot of like weird other stuff happening. I was tweeting about this morning. Hasbro and the company of Magic the Gathering just ended an early access influencer program. And it's like, okay. I just see a lot of these same dominoes falling as companies look out into the digital media landscape. And they start to realize that, like, okay, so we give early access to these influencers. Half of them shit all over our product. You know what I mean? Yeah. Maybe we don't do that. Now, that sucks because the company should say, why are half of these influencers that dedicated their lives to this brand shitting on our product? But that's not the way they think, right? So the way they think is, how do we mitigate that issue to just get more sales? And so I can't help but think that in some ways, what's going on? I mean, you kind of said it, right? Like they're not going to try to buy you, but they're trying to get people in the umbrella, right?
Yeah, they're doing a lot better job, though. I think when WandaVision came out, and I didn't get early access to it, and not to slag people off, but I saw some people who did get early access to it, and I even messaged Disney and was like, "Look, I'm gonna cover this show every single week, and I will hype it up." And I'll do a good job of it. I'm not, even shows I don't like, in my breakdowns, I just don't mention that I don't like them. I'm not someone who comes in and goes, that was absolutely crap. I'm sick of this show. Here's my breakdown, but don't bother watching it. I'm someone who tries to remain positive in them. And I told them, but they were like, no, we don't want you doing it. And then they kind of, I think they saw how I was talking about the show, and they're like, oh, well, we'll give this guy the next one. But some of the people who got the show, I just thought, how has this went in someone's head? Because all they're going to do is put one tweet out about it and say it was good. But most of them who got the first 3 episodes said, don't know what this is, don't really understand it.
Yeah.
And that put a lot of people off, I think. And from then, judging by who got the Falcon and the Winter Soldier early access, I can see that they've kind of reassessed things and thought, well, this person covered that show every single week, about 3 times a week. They're putting theory video after theory video out, doing circles with Mephisto pointing at every single character in the fucking show. So we'll give him that, and we'll just not bother with the people who we gave it to last time. And I think there was a much more consolidated effort, because I see people getting stuff all the time, like free clothes and that. And I just think this person doesn't even watch the show. They've just been given it because they have 20,000 followers on Twitter.
Yep.
And I think they have kind of changed that. But with that, there's almost came a feeling that they're sort of snubbing people, which isn't the case. But yeah, that's just how I kind of see it.
Yeah.
I think it's a much more the kind of saying, well, who actually helped to promote WandaVision, and who did the opposite
Yeah.
and made it seem bad or put people off it. Because there are people out there who will just get early access, write a tweet saying how crap something is, not review it, and that's it.
Yeah.
And it's kind of weird.
Yeah.
I see it all the time, and I just think that's so weird.
Yeah,
and I'll
it
be
is
slagging
weird.
them off. I'll be slagging them off in my direct messages, going, "Look at who got this early, and
Yeah.
you've done nothing but say bad things about
Yeah,
it."
yeah. No, it's an interesting time right now in media. You know what I mean? And not just because we're coming out of the pandy, but because like things were already accelerating in this way. Like digital was already the thing. I mean, streaming was already the thing. Disney's super lucky that they went as hard as they did on Disney Plus because it is now the lifeblood of that company. You know what I mean? Which is pretty crazy. But I guess to circle back and put a button on the episode 5 cameo, we both don't. Yeah, right. We'll get there. This is. Look, I told you in DMs. I was like, I need some therapy.
Yeah,
Paul.
This video is like clickbait at this point because it says Falcon and Winter Soldier episode 5 spoiler talk, and we haven't talked anything about it.
We haven't talked anything about it, but we're about to. Okay, so here's what I think. My current theory is Moonstone. Okay.
Okay.
And really, it's actually that I think she'll show up as the therapist. The therapist. I forget the character's name. Actually, let me look her up. And this is based on a number of different things. Number one, I think it more or less, I'm very certain that it is a female, unless there are more than one cameo and people are confusing them. Because initially, even Charles had this trepidation where he was like, I'm actually not 100% sure that who they're talking about over there is who I'm talking about. Yeah?
Yeah,
So,
and that is where I think the blonde woman thing came from.
Correct.
Because I was like, it's a blonde woman, it's episode 5, but it might be episode 6, and it might be like Don Cheadle appeared in the first episode.
Correct, yeah.
And if in the lead up to Falcon and the Winter Soldier, they had said, who's the big cameo, I would have just, if I had found out about Don Cheadle, I would have went, well, it's a black actor, he's been in the MCU before.
Yep.
And then when we got to episode 5, people would have been, say they hadn't. Well, this would make sense. But if I'd said that was the big cameo, then there's clearly other actors beyond that that could have popped in. So me seeing it's a blonde woman, I'm just praying to God that Florence Pugh is in it at this point.
Well, she could technically right. Well, that's the whole thing is right. She could technically be in it, but I've been told that is definitely not who the cameo is that they're talking about for episode 5. I know a lot of people went to like She-Hulk. A lot of people went to like Sue Storm or Emma Frost. I've been told, Wolverine, female Wolverine as Hugh Jackman.
That was the big one.
I mean, though it is not any of those, right? It is, from what I understand in the digging that I have done, it is not any of those characters. In fact, one of my sources said it's a Marvel character that's so obscure that most people aren't even going to recognize it as a cameo. And then I was like, but that doesn't really make sense, because why did that Hollywood Trade run a whole article about the episode 5 cameo? Like, you know what I mean? So I am confused as all get out about this particular cameo. You know what I mean? Like, the Moonstone thing for me would make sense, because essentially you'd have the character of Carla Sofin, and she would just show up as, I think honestly, just as a therapist, but also there's a person that she works for. Let me see here. What's this guy? I shared a picture of this guy on Twitter yesterday because he has connections to some crazy Black Panther storylines as well. Who's this guy?
I've just been sent. Do you know Stuart War Stew?
Yes,
you know the lad.
Yes, I know the lad.
He's just sent me one of who it could be.
Okay,
and I'm not going to say because it's from someone else, but it's a blonde actress.
Interesting. So, okay. Well, I think Johann Fenhoff or Dr. Faustus could be appearing in the show as well. And if Dr. Faustus appears alongside the Moonstone character, here's the thing. Like, that's a super big deal because of what it implies with the Thunderbolts and going into that area. And also, it could seemingly make the Thor comments make sense as she eventually becomes the Miss Marvel of the Dark Avengers. You know what I mean? So I think that could be really cool. But if nobody if nobody knows who the character is, then it's probably the actress.
Yeah, that's exactly what I think it is.
That is hyping up.
The recognizable. Yeah, I think the actor or actress is recognizable. And that's kind of what the hype is around.
Yeah.
They've said it's not an MCU character they've said it's not a Marvel character that's going to be in a future project or has been in one before. So therefore that makes me think that the character's not that important and it's more kind of just instantly being recognizable, like Bryan Cranston sort of level where you just see the person and you automatically associate the person and not the actor.
You think
and
it's
you might
Goldie
want to
Hawn?
check. I did, but I've just sent you a message on Discord. But don't say that out loud, yeah.
Can you DM it on Twitter to me? Because if I pull up the Discord, it's going to screw up our...
Oh, what?
I know. Had a new setup, trying to figure stuff out at the new place.
Well, I don't think it's this person because it's...
I mean, yeah, that could be a person that people would talk about. You know, one of the things, too, is Charles said it's one of his favorite actors or actresses. And so I wonder if people have been going back and trying to figure out, like, who does Charles love?
Likes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe. But yeah, there's probably a lot of people in the show, and I'm guessing that a lot of people know different ones. Who we don't know is, what we don't know is if they appear in episode 5 or not.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's probably a lot of wires getting crossed on things as well. Like I've heard it's a bald person. I've heard from other people they've got hair. I've heard it's an actress. I've heard it's an actor. And no one seems to know for definite. And I don't think anyone's putting their foot down because they don't know what episode it's going to happen in either. So they say, oh well, the big cameo is Quentin Tarantino. Which I probably shouldn't have said that either. But then episode 6, he doesn't show up in episode 5, but then he shows up in episode 6. You know, you've got to sit 2 weeks almost getting made a fool of saying, well, you said it was this person. And it's not nice when people are coming after you if they think you've got a fake scoop. Yeah, because even with The Mandalorian, which I knew was right, I had 3 days of that where people are, you idiot, this is wrong. I was like, it's not, please. Just leave me alone. I try to be good.
I know.
I try to help you, but you didn't see.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think people are just kind of staying away from locking down definites because you don't know what episode people are going to appear in.
Yeah. So
like if someone had said, say before I saw the series, someone said Don Cheadle's going to be in it,
you'd think it's a huge part.
And I would have thought it would have been like episode 6 or something that he would have turned up in right at the end when they're trying to fight everyone. I thought, he's going to show up in his War Machine armor and, you know, stuff's going to go down. And he wasn't. He was just standing about in a crowd in episode 1.
Yeah.
So knowing in advance things also can be detrimental almost.
Yeah.
And if you're trying to make a living off of knowing things in advance, it's because it's more about what you don't know that gets blown out of proportion. Or
what they change.
Yeah, exactly. So me saying it's a blonde woman, the actress might have been blonde, but they could have her in a brown wig.
Or vice versa.
You know what I mean? Exactly. Mm-hmm. So you don't know. Yeah,
it's interesting. I guess for me, I can't immediately think of any actress that would be so crazy. You know what I mean? That to be like, I can't believe this actress would join the MCU. To me, right now, I'm at a point where I'm like, I can't believe the people that are not joining the MCU. Why wouldn't you? Yeah. It doesn't make any sense. What do you think, though? Because here's kind of one of my theories. If it is Moonstone, Moonstone is a big deal, but like you really got to handhold normies to get there. You really got to take the normies there. So did they pick an incredible actress for Moonstone to make that the thing? Like people, for instance, let's say it is Goldie Hawn, right? For people to be like, well, I don't know who Moonstone is, but Goldie Hawn? I can't wait to see what she does next or whatever, et cetera, et cetera. What do you think about that? And do you think that's Marvel's strategy possibly?
Yeah, maybe. Maybe it's like the end of The Dark Knight Rises when you're like, oh, John Blake, who the hell is that? Joseph Gordon-Levitt. And then the woman's like, I like your name, Robin. Your name is Robin.
Mm-hmm.
Robin is your name. Maybe they have the big, maybe they have the big actress or actor, and they're sitting chatting away. You're going, whoa, this is amazing. And then they go, what did you say your name was, by the way, big actor? And they go, John Moonstone. John Moonstone.
Right.
And then they just kind of stare at each other. You go, okay.
And then Ralph Boner flies by.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
That's the way to go.
So it'd be interesting to see. But at least we know there is a big actor or actress in episode 5.
This is true. Yes, we do know that. I also think that so much of it has been thrown way out of proportion. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, probably.
People are just like, I don't know, man. I honestly think I almost think it's a mistake to put the cameo in your episode 5, because your episode 5 was already going to be amazing. You were already going to do all this crazy stuff you needed to as your ultimate episode. So I think a lot of what Spellman's talking about when he's like, because he is hyping up episode 5, I don't think he's hyping up the cameo. No, I think he's hyping up the episode, but it's getting wires crossed. You know what I mean? And so like the whole internet feels like, oh, well, he's hyping up this cameo. This has got to be crazy. You know what I mean? And it's just like, no, like, I don't know, bro.
John Krasinski, did you say?
John Krasinski. Did I say that?
Yeah. So what do you think's going to happen in episode 5? I watched the sneak peek. I think I've got a fair idea. I've done a fan theory video today. It's not coming out today. It's coming out tomorrow. Yeah. So hold your horses.
Okay.
But I think after the flag smasher gets smashed in, that they go to like a warehouse, and Sam and Bucky are saying, "Look, mate, you're a dickhead for that. Yeah. What you're doing? Give her back the shield." And he's like, "I kind of like this shield.
Yeah,
it's actually mine." And they have a fight. I think John's going to win that fight. I think John is going to kick the crap out of both of them.
Interesting.
I think that he's going to go back to America. They're going to have a big hearing. Well, maybe not a hearing, but they'll have some government official thing, which is when John goes, "I am Captain America." And I think before that, the government are going to say to him, "Look, give us the shield back, you mug. You've killed a lad." And he's like, "Nah, I think I'll keep it." And then at the end of the episode, Sam and Bucky have got to take him down again, is what I'm guessing happens.
Yeah.
I think episode 6 will be... So I think at the end of episode 5, Sam will become Captain America. And I think that'll go into... And they'll beat John Walker. And I think then they'll go into episode 6 with the Flag Smasher and Power Broker being the villain of that one. So now he's Captain America and he's got to take both of them down. I can see that being how it goes.
Yeah, but I'm on a completely different page, actually. So my theory is that most of episode 5 will be about Sam convincing Bucky that they need to not only help John Walker, but work with him to stop the Flag Smashers. And then at the end of episode 5, we'll go into the big action-y ending where Sam leads, or basically helps, Bucky and John, and they'll be on the ground, and Falcon will be doing cool stuff in the air, hopefully. And a lot of this comes from the leaked set photos and videos from Atlanta. Like, we know for sure that there are sequences even in that last trailer. Well, yeah, in the street with John and Bucky seemingly working together. So what I think is actually going to happen is they're all going to work together, and John is going to realize that he should not be Captain America, and he's actually going to realize and acknowledge that Sam was the right choice, and that he will willingly give up the shield to Sam. And
yeah, that works really well.
Yeah. So that's kind of where I'm at with it, and I think too that
I wish I'd spoken to you before I made this fan theory video. Now, so I'm like, oh, that's much better than the crap I wrote.
No, I think that most people, I think that you're right on with how they're. I think that's what they're trying to get people to think. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think the flip in the end is gonna really shock people because, I mean, honestly, what a better way to prove indefinitely that Sam is the guy. And it takes me back to when Steve rolls up on Sam and he's helping all of those vets.
Yeah,
There was a
definitely.
moment those vets.
Yeah,
There was a
definitely.
moment there, dude, where Steve, like, it clicked for him. You know what I mean? And he was like, this is a good man. And that skill set will also be there to help John. He can literally help John. He has the
Makes
skill set to
sense.
do that. You know what I mean? I mean, you know, if you read the comics, I mean, John has been through an incredible amount of stuff. In the show, they kind of sidelined that. I think they really wanted people to hate him. But in Marvel Comics, John has been through a lot. John has had moments of redemption. John has had weak moments. John, in one of the most recent comic book runs, was asked to take the shield from Sam Wilson because Sam Wilson was
Like
standing
Captain
up for
America.
cops. Yeah, well, Sam Wilson was standing up for cops, or rather, standing against cops for the black community. And there was a perception that that meant he was anti-American. The government asked John Walker to go take the shield from Sam, and John Walker said, "That's bullshit. I'm not going to go take the shield from this guy because he's standing up for Americans." And then old man Steve walks in.
Old Steve walks in like, yo,
take that shield from Sam.
Yeah, take it from him. He's like, I respect you.
Yeah.
I will do that. Yeah, I thought that. See, that is probably where I got the fight in the street thing from, because I read that comic and I just thought the one at night, the fight they're having, that looks very similar to the way that Sam and US Agent fought in the street. So that was where I got that from, but probably wrong.
Well, I mean, it's I mean, that's such an interesting
Imagine
story.
if the episode 5 cameo was
Old man
Steve Rogers, and he walks in like, you better go get that shield. And
well, you
like,
know what's funny about that, Paul? If we dared to have fun again, minus our boner burns, if we dared to have fun again, what's interesting about that is Chris is rumored to be coming back, and they are apparently doing some Secret Empire stuff. And so
yeah, that would be awesome.
It would be ridiculous.
Everyone hates it, but I think it's great. I love Secret Empire.
It's bold. I'll say that. It's bold.
Just like whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. They want it. They should do stuff like that.
I think they should too. Yeah.
Yeah. Marvel's really, really good at just taking chances. I know everyone says, oh, they just made the same movie 500 times for phase 1 to 3. But they've done some really bold moves, I think, and they always work as well.
Yeah.
I'd love to see Secret Empire, and that would allow them to get a young Steve Rogers again.
Yep.
Don't know if they go as crazy as they did in the comics with the whole youth thing and making his like entire reality rewritten or whatever.
Yeah, I mean they might do a multiverse, a multiverse take on that, and I also think with the stone splitting across, splitting apart, and then Loki, there could be an opportunity for old man Steve to show up, and instead of him being like a living cosmic cube, he would be the multiverse version of Steve that just happens to understand that he can slip in here and start to really screw some stuff up. You know what I mean? Maybe it's a long play from a Dark Avengers group that is sort of a cabal that is currently seeing what's happening with Secret Wars and the conversions, and they're literally trying to destroy other Earths or undermine other multiverse versions of Avengers so that universe can be the one universe that survives. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That kind of stuff would be really, really cool. But if you're cool, you want to jump into some Q&A? People been throwing some supers. He seems real excited, guys. So direct all of your questions at Paul. We're going to get into Q&A now, guys. I'm going to start going through the super chats. But before we do, I wanted to remind you guys that today's show is brought to you by Surfshark VPN. Surfshark is one of the best VPNs on the internet. It has incredible security, Nerdvenger level security, and it comes in cheaper than some of these other more bloated, crazy VPNs that you've probably heard of before. Look, the digital age is here. You got to protect your stuff online. You don't want people prying on all of your stuff. If you don't have a VPN, you're doing it wrong. Get a VPN. Use code NERDS at checkout for 83% off and 3 months free. Thank you to Surfshark. We love them. Joey Ebb says for $2 holla, could be hitting us with 2 surprise episodes. I mean, no. I mean, like, maybe
it's just all the deleted scenes of the pandemic stuff.
Yeah, right. Maybe they do the virus take or something.
Yeah, they just have like intercut scenes of
release the pandy tape. Yeah, that's interesting stuff. Josh I says for the $10 holla, smash like for unlimited power and Nerdcoin. Do it now.
Do it.
What up, Paul? Looking forward to Friday's episode. Josh, we appreciate you, Bretta. P.S. Take my money. Thanks for the love, my friend. We appreciate you. Patrick Ray says, Josh, idea. No more boners t-shirt from the pic from the tweet showing off the NERDVENGER tattoos group pic at Comic-Con, 4-day green badge. Take my money. Thank you, Patrick. I do think that, did you see what I posted on Twitter? That was some art that was made by one of our fans. I have no problem throwing that on a t-shirt. I mean, I don't know. I feel like half of you guys hate that I won't let the boner thing go. The other half of you are like, can we merch the boner thing? So I don't know, man. I'm at a loss with that. Let's see here. Stevie says for the very generous $20 holla, I think my problem with the show is that by removing the virus plot, there is really no imminent threat. The superhero soldier serum getting out is just not that worthy. The virus makes it much more of a world threat, in my opinion. What do you think of that, Paul?
Agree, definitely. I haven't cared about the super soldier serum getting out because I've known that it's very limited. And as soon as they killed Nagel, I just thought, well, there's no way to remanufacture this thing. And then Zemo stepping on it, I was like, well, that's that done.
Yeah, agree. So, I think maybe that's part of it is like the stakes just don't like. What I kept saying to people was like, am I missing something with Carly? Because I feel like I have to be missing something with Carly. I don't see the charisma, that would attract a whole bunch of people to follow this person. Like, I don't see the inciting incident that made it so everybody realized that she was the person they should follow. Like, I lack context, and it feels like I'm just supposed to believe that this girl is a leader. You know what I mean? And like, I just frankly don't see it.
Yeah, I think she was deliberately meant to be understated when she was first introduced. So you're meant to just look at her and think, oh, it's just a small girl. What can she do?
Sure.
And then when she started smashing everyone's head in, it was like, whoa, all right, we've all had a drink. So yeah, I think that was it. But I do kind of see what you say. But I think because of that, she makes a good antagonist or opposition to the government because she is a normal person who is very much, very, very small in stature. She's not like outspoken. Even when she's acting, she's very sort of reserved and going like, we have to stop this thing from happening.
That's what I mean.
If you hand yourself over, I'll let you go. I'll shine your shoes and get the hell out of here.
Yeah, it seems so...
But that's kind of an opposition to the government. Even her nationality of being British is like an opposition to the American government, you know what I mean? So I think they've just kind of said, they've got this big superpower of the American military. What's the opposite of that? And it's like a small British girl who's like, I'll pick a pocket of two.
Yeah, I guess that's fair. Yeah, I guess it makes sense with the juxtaposition.
Makes sense on paper,
yeah. But it just
one of those things that you would think when drafting the story.
Yeah.
But when executing it, you're kind of like, well, does this work or not?
We don't know what the full virus dealie would have been, but it seems like it was heavily involved in her mentor figure, right? And so, like, it seems like there might have been something with the mentor, or like there might have been something more there to give Carly a little bit more oomph in the original story. I thought
that was what they were stealing at the bank or whatever it was in the first episode, where Joaquin Torres who's kind of been forgotten about at this point.
Yeah, I know.
But where Joaquin Torres, because he was a big part of the comics too, but where he fought a flag smasher, I thought, oh right, they've stolen something there. Is that going to be the virus?
Right.
And then that just kind of got brushed to the side. It was like, nope, flag smashers are just bad.
You think it's going to just become a bomb or whatever? Because there still has to be something. There has to be this imminent thing.
Apparently they attack the G20.
Okay.
With something, but I don't know if that's going to still be in it. But apparently that was what it originally was. That I definitely have heard there was a plot line where they attack the G20. So maybe that's what happens.
That is pretty interesting. Patrick says, continued from last chat while Zemo fist bumping. Amen. Patrick says, back of t-shirt saying, who is they said? Saying, who is they said? What? Maybe that was a typo. Enrique says, female Wolverine's facial hair is my weakness. You're not alone.
Mm-hmm.
You're not alone.
Get it out.
Elisa Scott says, Ralph Boner for the cameo. Boner for Power Broker. Boner for everyone.
Good.
That actually would be fine.
If they just keep bringing him back.
I mean,
I kind of think it might be Smiling Tiger.
Yeah, I know. Oh, that's going to trigger me. That's going to trigger me so much. BS Zemo's dancing was enough for me to forgive the boner joke. Okay, yeah, no, I get that. And I did love the Zemo dance. I do think that it has gone a long way to improve my personal mood about this. But, yeah, I can't deny it. It's definitely not over the boner pain.
Maybe you're spoiled. Are we just spoiled fans? Because I think the shows are really good, but
yeah,
whenever I talk about them, it inevitably turns negative.
Yeah, I do feel similar. You know what I mean? But again, like, how much of that is our fault? Like, that's what I think I'm. I guess that's what we're saying, right? It's like pretty much 100% my fault. But it
was my fault that WandaVision was so popular.
Yes,
because everyone was watching it for me.
Yes,
and it was your fault that everyone hates it now.
Okay, well, look, we figured it out. You know what I mean? We figured it out. But in all seriousness, I do appreciate everybody's patience. I know some people look, the comic, it's funny. It is emotional. You know what I mean? Like, people are getting all in their feelings about all different kinds of aspects of this show. And there are some people that love certain aspects of the show so much, like the way that it's handling like political aspects and stuff like that, that like when I say I have pacing issues or like, you know, actual issues with how the thing flows or functions, that people think somehow I'm attacking the social points that the show is trying to make.
Yeah.
Like, that's how ridiculous the internet has gotten to, you know? So it's an interesting time, man. You know what I mean? Sheev the Wise says, hello there, definition, which is more likely for the cameo? A boner, Mephisto, U.S. agent, or Paul from Heavy Spoilers? What do you think?
Oh, is that leaked? Do they know I'm in it?
They might now.
Yeah. It would be good if they actually did a Mephisto joke, wouldn't it? That would be quite funny. I would genuinely laugh if they did a Mephisto joke.
I tell you, for real, I would respect it more if there was more boner or if there was more of that. Because I tell you what, well, if there's nothing else with him, like, that's the worst. That's the worst that thing that they could do. The best thing is just make him an X-Men and beg for our forgiveness. The middle road is, you know, have him just continue to pop off, like, play with that a little bit. You know what I mean? Have fun with it.
In the new Stan Lee.
Yes.
Just every single time.
Why not? Why not?
In a different costume.
Yeah. No, I think that would be hilarious. Mike says Walker will give up the shield to Sam, Ross, and Moonstone will show up to offer Walker the U.S. agent mantle and recruit him into the Thunderbolts. Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at, too. I think that John may well be assigned to Moonstone as for therapy, and he still will be U.S. agent. He'll still technically be a hero because he has the super soldier serum. He'll be registered through the Accords, but he will likely be working for the organization of the Thunderbolts with either Ross or, you know, maybe some of those other characters that we described. Yeah. But yeah, I think that's a fair bet. What do you think about that, man? Are you pumped for Thunderbolts?
That was something else. Yeah, though we don't agree on what's going to happen in the next episode, I have said that it's all building towards the Thunderbolts.
Yeah,
I think that's going to be what happens with Zemo. I think that'll be where his story continues off into, because I can't see him. Well, what I said, my fan theory was I can see him going back to jail. Do you remember Arkham Origins?
Yes.
Do you know at the end of that game where Deathstroke's in his cell and then Amanda Waller comes in like, I've got a Task Force X for you
100%.
there. You can see something like that happening where Zemo's in his cell and General Ross comes in and says, the Thunderbolts, we're starting it up.
Yep.
Thunderbolt Ross, your boy. It's me.
Oh man, yes. Like, that is exactly what I'm looking for. And yeah, no, that'll be really, really cool. I think either way we're getting a rudimentary sort of maybe even just watered down version of the Thunderbolts, but that's not to say that it won't be developed further. In fact, I've heard that they might even do a Thunderbolts show. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that makes the most sense. I don't think it'll be a film.
Right.
I think a show would be better.
Correct.
To be honest.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the actors playing the roles also come from television.
Okay. Yeah.
So yeah, that makes sense to me.
Whew, that is interesting. Mike Mother Flippin' Porter says, Paul, thanks to you coming here, I have subscribed to you. You're very knowledgeable and very, very funny.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Not in the videos, I'm not. But here I
am. No, man. Everybody loves your videos. Dude, your videos are hilarious. Honestly, super jealous every time I watch one of your videos. I feel like there's so much goodness put into the video. You know what I mean? You work hard on your stuff, man. You deserve the success that you
work fast as well, which I think is one of my strongest points.
Yes.
So just get it out before anyone else does. Just get it out.
That is
so ready? Put it live. Put it live.
For real, the quality and the speed is pretty crazy. Like the fact that you're able to keep that quality and then move that fast is pretty crazy. So hats off to you.
I'm a super soldier myself.
I knew it. I knew it all along. I'm trying to get close to you so I can just get some of your blood and figure it out myself. JJE Demon Beast, $5 super chat, no message. Appreciate the love. Tim says, NERDVENGERS love Paul. Much love to both of you. Oh, my NERDVENGERS. And shout out to my big bro, Sheev. That's awesome, brother.
Shout out, Sheev.
Shout out to Sheev. Prince Zodiac says, vials in Pack Plus One's Smashers took. There's 5 missing. That's interesting. Do you know what he's talking about there?
Yeah, so the package had 5 vials in it missing. I think it had 11 altogether or something, and there was 6. Is that right?
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, 6. I don't know. I've seen quite a lot of comments on it, but at this point, once a number shows up in a comment, I don't know what it is. Just in my head, I just switch off from reading it. So if someone has like 11, 5, 8, I just stop reading it.
Huh.
But I have seen that the vials were missing, so they think there's more people out there who've had it. But it could also just be the flag smashers because there was quite a lot of people that had it.
Yeah.
Super soldier strength, so I don't know.
I mean, I'm hoping that maybe Ross...
I kind of feel like they might leave stuff in the show like that, though, to make people speculate.
Yeah.
And just not have any plan for it.
It's possible, or maybe they have a couple of plans on the table. I know Feige likes to play that game, too, where he's like, okay, well, here's some of the things we could do. So here's what's safe as a thread, you know what I mean, to establish. That is really interesting. My main thing is I'm very hopeful for Red Hulk. And actually, there's some info that I have that I can't quite talk about yet that actually has to do with She-Hulk and some other stuff. That's the best that I could say. And I'm actually pretty pumped about where I think all of this is going. And look, Marvel is still amazing. Like, this shit is awesome, and I'm so pumped about where we're going. I just feel like it's like, man, I just want to get over this all the pandy content. You know what I mean? Like, I want to get into like the real stuff.
I just don't want anyone to tackle the pandemic, in all honesty, because I feel it's going to be so played out very soon.
It's exhausting, dude.
That just skip over it.
Yeah.
We've seen enough about it. I want to hear something else.
Yeah, man, I agree. Jordan Smith says, biggest issue with the shows is that they all feel like they will be inconsequential when we return to the movies. That is a bummer. What are your thoughts on that, man?
That's what you've said, basically, isn't it?
Yeah.
That you don't need to watch these things. They're good. Like, I don't want to spoil too much, but I've seen the toys, and they're definitely going the exact way that the movie Endgame ended, basically.
Yep.
Let
me ask you something about that, though, because there is an interesting aspect from the Spider-Man Far From Home leaked set photographs where the Statue of Liberty is holding the Captain America shield, and it says on the poster, meet New York's newest and tallest Avenger. What do you think that means? Because
is that legitimate? Because I was going to cover it.
It's legit, yeah.
And then I got told it was fake, and I just thought, I'm never looking at this again. You wasted my time.
Well, I guess I should say I believe it's real, and Charles does too. And I think he actually indicated on Twitter that he knows exactly what it means and he thinks it's awesome. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So
and it's not from the comics, is it? There's nothing in the comics like that.
Not that I can think of. I think Liberty was a character in the comics. Let me see. Liberty.
Yeah.
Marvel character. I think there was.
Maybe all of New York becomes an Avenger. Because do you remember the Snyder Cut?
Yeah.
No, well, not the Snyder Cut, but the third Justice League movie was meant to be the entire planet was going to become somewhat of a Justice League.
Mm-hmm. Lady Liberty. Lady Liberty. That's really interesting. So this is a character from Earth 1297.
That's the cameo. We've figured it out.
I mean, wouldn't that be nuts, dude?
That's the cameo.
It literally looks like this is just a gigantic Statue of Liberty looking lady here.
Yeah. Yeah. Cool.
Yeah, and then she's from Roxxon, so there's some connections here, brother. You know what I mean? Like, there could be something to this. My original thought was... Yeah, go.
No, you go.
Well, I was just going to say, like, affiliation All-Americans. Yeah, this is kind of weird. So, one of my things is I think Sam will take up the mantle, but I also think he's going to approach it a little bit differently. And so, it is very possible... I don't know. Like, it's possible that, like, he takes on the mantle and becomes Captain America, but also, like, establishes Lady Liberty, you know what I mean? Or the idea of Liberty itself being the real shield of this nation or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He might do something like that. And then, like, I could see a thing where they literally put a gigantic Captain America shield on the Statue of Liberty.
Yeah, I can see that happening.
Yeah, which would be kind of cool, yeah?
It'd be easy to do as well. They just CGI it on.
Yeah, because they don't have to do it in real life. It would be super easy, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Patrick Ray says...
Dude,
it'll be sick, right? Patrick says, they said was the source of a topic on a show. They said was the source of a topic on the show. Man, I must be missing some context there, brother. I apologize. Let me see if I can find your other chat. Nah, man. I'm sorry. You're going to have to explain that. Just DM me, Pat. Josh I says, every Marvel cameo is Paul Bettany. Where White Vision at? I know, right? Wouldn't that be crazy?
That'd be good.
Paul Bettany just shows up again as White Vision, and he's like, I know what you're thinking. You require elaboration. And then he just flies away.
Amazing.
Ross says, great stream, heavy nerds. Nice. I got Ross as Power Broker, and this Sharon is a Skrull. I believe the Skrull thing for sure. If I'm wrong, then Bob's my uncle. LOL. Also, Paul, recap videos are funny AF. Yeah, but Bob's your uncle is a thing that basically means, like, good on you, right? Like, right on, kind of, right?
Yeah, I don't even really... Now you're asking me what it means. I don't even know... It just means, like, job done.
Yeah.
We'll go to the shop, get some pop. Bob's your uncle.
Yeah, man.
And it's just like a full stop on something, but in a jolly way of saying, like, yeah, Bob's your uncle. I think.
It's one of my favorite British expressions. I was like, that is awesome. Thank you, Ross, for the love. Guys, we're probably only going to go like 10 more minutes. I don't want to hold Paul much longer here, so I'll go through some of the super chats. We might fly through a few of these, and then we're going to call it a day, guys. So we appreciate the love. We appreciate the support. Let us see here. The real Jesse Lee Reed says, Josh, get real. There has only ever been a 0% chance of any Fox X-Men characters crossing over to the MCU with the same actors. So here's the thing. If that is true, then why did they cast Evan Peters? I just don't understand how you can't...
I think it was just because they wanted to confuse the audience, basically.
Yeah.
To make us think that there was going to be the X-Men.
So that was it. So if both of those statements are true, then how do I, as a fan, not look at Marvel and stick my thumb up to them? Or, you know what I mean? Stick my nose up to them.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Like, if what you're saying is true, and it's also true that they did this intentionally, then it is a fuck you. You know what I mean? Now, should I get over it? Am I being too butthurt about it? Of course. I can acknowledge that. You know what I mean? But hey, it is what it is, man. I gotta be me. I gotta be me. You know. Flacco XL says 50 Cent as power broker would be amazing. What do you think about that? That for some reason that keeps coming up.
Curtis Jackson. It's because his name's Curtis Jackson.
Huh.
And the power broker name's Curtis Jackson. It's just they have the same name.
That's why it keeps coming up. I can't believe it took me. I've never understood why. Paul, this is why you're the best, man.
And he's in a show called Power. So they're both called Curtis Jackson, and he's in a show called Power.
This is why you're the GOAT, dude.
So,
this is why Amazon calls you. Good stuff. Good stuff. Johnny H says, Hawaii the lads, great Hawaii.
Hawaii the lads.
Is that a British thing
That's
too?
Geordie that. That's Geordie that.
Gotcha.
Hawaii the lads.
Hawaii the lads. Great to see you on, Paul. I feel like these are very bingeable and would probably benefit if the whole series was on at once, so each episode isn't under a microscope. That is a point I continue to hear. What's your take on that?
I agree, but for me, I prefer it being week to week.
Yeah.
Just because I can make more money, basically.
Yeah. But I think, too, the fact that you can make more money is derivative of the fact that the hype is extended. You know what I mean? Like
Disney make more money as well.
That's
obviously.
the point. Yeah, for sure. So
I think Netflix have lost out on so much by just dropping seasons in a day.
Yes.
I really think if they'd done stuff weekly, that not everything, but say a Stranger Things or the Umbrella Academy, things of that level. Yeah. Just do it weekly. People will watch it.
Yeah, or have it like on a wheel, like even like a four episode binge, and then like a week.
Well, that's what Amazon do. So they drop the first 3 episodes of something, and then it's weekly.
Yeah,
so
I actually like that a lot.
Boys.
Yeah,
it's good, really good.
Yeah,
best of both worlds.
We'll see. I mean, I don't think Disney's going to stray from the situation. And again, I do think, I try to be charitable here because I do believe a lot of this has to do with the Pandy scheduling things. You know what I mean? Like, again, I'm trying to be charitable, but it's, it's Marvel, have high expectations. But yeah, that argument I don't think is ever going to go away. And I think the truth is WandaVision did an incredible job of having little things that was like the thing to talk about on social media moving forward. And in some ways, Falcon and the Winter Soldier is doing that. But I think that the way WandaVision ended has hurt Falcon and the Winter Soldier's ability to do that same thing. And also because it's so grounded and all of the plot points are pretty much right in front of us. There's no real allegories to try to figure out. There's no hidden meaning of things that are in a frame. There's
not a metaphor for anything.
Exactly.
Like that.
There's no
it's just people
real
punching each other.
Exactly. So I just do not think that it's going to have the same kind of week-to-week impact, which maybe is something Marvel should consider and either adjust their format or, maybe they should put more than one episode out. I mean, they did that with WandaVision. You know what I mean? They had those 2 come out at once, so.
I did say that it didn't. I mean, obviously, there's a lot of racial stuff in there.
Yes.
But that's something that people tend to argue about, whereas WandaVision isn't something that, you're not going to sit around having heated arguments on Twitter about Ralph Boner.
Right.
You're just going to say, I like this or I didn't. Whereas when it comes to things like race and social commentary, it always leads to arguments rather than... I mean, yesterday, I'm about to drop a video in the next half hour about the Dora Milaje.
Oh, okay.
And so I've covering several... So the first topic I'm covering is...
The arm
whether
thing?
John Walker... Yeah, so the arm thing, I'm covering that. And the jurisdiction thing. And John Walker, if he should have killed that guy or not.
Yeah.
And they're all debates that have happened over the last week.
Yeah.
But they're not being fun debates like it was with WandaVision.
That's the thing, right? I've been staying away from that stuff. I mean, I thought Steven, the Wolf, whatever actor, what's the show that he's on? Teen Wolf or whatever?
Teen Wolf.
Yeah. I thought he handled yesterday with an incredible amount of grace. The internet's just ridiculous. Like, I don't know if I could be as peaceful as he was about it. I didn't even think his take was that bad. He was just saying it's sad. And it is sad. You know what I mean? And it's like everybody has to fucking put all their political bullshit onto this guy because he is a popular actor with several followers that's just speaking his mind on Twitter. And to his point, I mean, it's not the best take. You know what I mean? It's not the best take. I don't think it's a terrible take, especially because he's just saying it's sad. I can understand why people were upset about it, but man, it's just so exhausting. Like, I think it's so crazy. And I also think, like, you know, it's one thing to be like, I want to make a show that deeply talks about social issues. That I completely understand. But it's another thing for a corporation to look out into the world that we currently live in and greenlight such a thing, thinking that it's not going to cause all of these problems. If anything...
Well, it's capitalism, isn't it?
Well, it is capitalism, but what I don't understand is, like, if they really cared about the issues, Paul, don't you think they would have had, like, maybe some panel discussions and some experts or maybe resources or ways for fans to go explore these ideas? It seems like they're just content to throw a match on the thing. You know what I mean? And that's a jaded way to look at it. But what I'm saying is they don't really care the full way to me. You know what I mean? Maybe Spellman does. I feel like Spellman does. But I don't feel like Disney does. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Capitalism at the end of the day is basically... a brand gets you to buy into them by making you associate your values with it.
True.
So Black Lives Matter, when that happened, you will have noticed. And it's the same thing when it's like gay Pride Month and stuff like that. You'll notice all these apps and big corporations, they'll change their branding to be like a rainbow flag or something. Mm-hmm. And it's not. And when you look at their infrastructure and see,
right? I mean, like Amazon had BLM on their website, and yet they are shutting down majority Black. You know what I mean? Not to get political, but they're shutting down unions, Black unions.
Yeah. So what?
You know what I mean?
So where the capitalism comes in is that they'll see these messages mean a lot to someone on a personal level, and they'll brand their stuff in a way that you think that the corporation has the same values as you. So you buy them thinking, well, I'm supporting a corporation that has the same values as me, and we're getting, we're all pushing this positive message when they probably don't care, and they're just looking at it as a way to make money. By making you think that you and them have the same values, so that you give them money.
Yeah, it's pretty.
So that is sort of
and I feel like
that's how it works.
Yeah, for sure. And I feel like there's a measure of that that's starting to really, become transparent to people. And it's an interesting time because I think there are even people that feel strongly about these social issues, depending on which side they are on. And they might be mistaken for somebody that doesn't care about the issues simply because they're trying to point out what we're talking about right now, right? And it feels like if you try to point this fact out, you get dogpiled, you get called all sorts of things because, again, what you're saying makes sense. It's a branding thing. It's an emotional thing. They want to feel like they're doing the right thing. In some ways, it's like people don't even want to look that closely at their own behavior. They just want to feel like they're a good person. So it's a wild time,
It's nothing new, though, and companies have... what a company that succeeds does is that they take something that people feel is inherently personal to them and apply it to their product. So years ago, it was people's childhoods, and that's why you had so many films that were based upon movies from the 80s or, favorite things, because people are like, well, that was part of my childhood. So now that it's getting remade, I'll go see that movie. And companies knew this. They were like, well, we'll greenlight all these projects because people have a personal attachment to them and they're more likely to go and see it. So it used to be nostalgia, and now it's changed to more political things that companies are siding with because they see that people have a personal attachment to that. So obviously there is good in what they're doing, getting these messages out there, but it is sort of jading as well.
Yeah, it's a mixed bag. It's like, I think even for a normal person to look out there and try to figure out what is moral and what is right, I think it's a new thing, and I think it's a nuanced thing, and I think that it's not easy to talk about these things on social media, which is why things like what happened with Steven yesterday happen. You know what I mean? It's not a bad dude. I mean, he actually probably closely aligns politically with most of the people that were attacking him most harshly. You know?
Yeah. Okay.
It's just crazy. So anyway, Jay Mills says, sorry.
Everyone wants to make it a Gina Carano situation.
I know, dude.
Every situation, it's like, do we make this into a Gina Carano thing and make money? And you know what? YouTubers do it as well.
Yes,
they see what people are put. Like, I'm not having to go up any channels, but I often see people making videos on outrage because they know that people have a personal attachment to one of the sides in the argument.
Mm-hmm.
So they'll make a video and they'll keep making like Brie Larson has been milked to death, and it's not because she's been doing lots of bad things every single month. It's because people realize that there's a lot of people out there that have a personal dislike for her. So any single story, people will jump on it, and YouTubers have realized this and just thought, well, I don't really care too much about it, but I can make money off making people outraged.
Yeah.
So you've got some sides of the argument that'll try and monetize political beliefs. You've got some that'll monetize hate, and it's all just one big capitalist system.
Yep.
Which we're all happy to be part of.
We're all thrilled to be on the carousel. Jay Miller says, sorry, this is off topic, but I just wanted to say that I think Snyder should have taken on Invincible instead of DC, not knowing his DC, but the adult content fits him better. That's pretty fair. And by the way, I just got into Invincible. I've been watching it. Oh, it's so
really
good. Whoa.
The comic's really good as well.
Oh, it's one that I've totally missed. You know what I mean? People would always tell me, because I liked the Walking Dead comics. I was more into the comics than the show. And people were like, oh, man, you've never read Invincible? Like, what are you doing? And then just never did. You know, I like Kirkman, but just never got around to it. And wow, the music, the animation, the characters, fantastic. I love that. And you know what? Snyder would be a good fit for live action. Yeah.
Warner Brothers' problem was that they hired a really dark director to make movies that he wanted to, and then try to make them Marvel.
Yep.
Which he couldn't do.
100%. And he could have eventually got there, but he had a 5-film arc, and he's a slow burn storyteller. You know what I mean? Yeah. He did a 4-hour cut. You know, guys, he's a slow burn storyteller. You got to know the creative that you're bringing in. You know. Hawks Holocron says Josh is Ja Rule fan confirmed. Ja Rule's cool. Normies to Nerd says 50 Cent created Power Ghost is the main creator in Power. Curtis Jackson Power Broker, hence Ghost from Ant-Man is Cameo. Boom. You looking for this? Hey, that could absolutely be. And by the way, again, could be more than one cameo. You know what I mean?
Might be 2.
There could be 2.
Just please be a blonde woman.
Yes. At this point, we need to get a seance going. And we need a seance in the blonde woman so that Paul doesn't get destroyed on Reddit. So, NERDVENGERS, you know, put your prayers out. Elisa Scott says, in my opinion, Marvel series have gone pear-shaped, but I'm crackered. What? But
cream crackered. Tired.
Of
knackered.
All the boners. Okay,
Tired.
so she's pulling some deep British stuff as well. As the actress said to the bishop. Wait, what? What actress said that to the bishop? What are you talking about?
It's just like an innuendo. It's lots of British talking that cream crackered means knackered.
So she's going full on. She's going full on Brit on me.
Exactly. And you're not catching it because you're a stupid American.
A stupid Yank, brother. You know what I mean? Like you never go full Brit on a Yank. Timothy Gregg says for $5. Thanks for being here, Paul. Would love to see you on Nerd Theory sometime. Yeah, Paul. I don't know how. I mean, I know you're a Star Wars guy, but I don't know like if you're really, really like. I mean, you know, that's something that I'd love to see as well. You know what I mean? Paul's always great, man. Let me see.
You don't think I'm a Star Wars guy, is that you just said? I'll bloody show you. You're still here. Mm-hmm. Can't hear you, what you're saying.
I'm waiting to see the swag. I'm waiting.
Tazos.
Wow.
Complete. Did you used to collect these? I think they were only in England. But I've got 2 of these. 2 of them. And British people will know exactly what they are. Basically, when I was growing up, you had to buy Walker's crisps, and they'd give you little, like, cardboard scenes from Star Wars.
Nice.
And you collect them in a book. But I've got loads of Star Wars stuff. I just didn't really like the new trilogy that much.
Yeah. Yeah.
But as a kid, I loved it.
Yeah.
My favorite thing. And then went to crap.
Yeah.
Probably Batman probably my favorite thing. And Star Wars for a bit, but it went to crap.
Yeah, yeah. So
and I'm talking about the prequels as well.
Yeah, let's protect you from the Star Wars fans because they're already getting their torches.
Dead.
Yeah, they're already fueling up the torches. So
yeah,
we'll just maybe keep you safe from that. Let's see here. Logan Moe says, "Are they gonna forget George St. Pierre's group?" That is a good question. Yeah, what do you think about that? I love George St. Pierre. I've heard he's going to be in way more than just this show, and I think it's a dang shame we only got a little bit of him, you know?
Yeah, he should be. Because that was a big plot thread that was dropped.
Yeah. Yeah.
Get him back.
Yeah, get him back, man. I agree. Sega Boy says, "Hey, Josh, tried to ask you guys on Nerd Theory last night, but your thoughts on the Star Wars Detours show coming out, produced pre-acquisition on Disney." I think it's cool. I'm excited to check it out. I still need to get into Tarkovsky's Clone Wars fully, but I love Tarkovsky. Like Primal on Adult Swim, if you've never seen it, is incredible. As a fan of animation, like, he's brilliant. So, I love that they're bringing all that kind of old stuff into Star Wars. It does, again, show, though, that they have sort of changed maybe the direction of the Titanic, as it were. Sheev the Wise says, "Feeling cheeky this morning, mates? Hope this cameo isn't another wanker." See, that was just enough British for me, Paul. That was just enough for me to be able to understand.
Yeah, really good.
Good job. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I think we're going to call it there. Paul, do you have anything else going on you want to plug? Anything else? I know you got that big preview video coming. Anything else going on?
Go on my channel in the next 15 minutes to argue about whether John Walker and Io are right. Or were they wrong? Was Io right for disarming him? Was John Walker right for killing that guy? We're going to have an argument in the comments, and I'm going to make loads of money off it.
I love it. I'm going to go in there and argue myself. But yeah, people will hate everything I have to say. So it'll be exciting. Well, thanks for being here, my friend. It's always a pleasure talking to you. I'm sorry that I dragged you into the deep depths of my depression over the Marvel shows, and now everybody hates you.
Okay. It's all right. No one's watching this, are they?
Yeah, no, I don't think
we'll be fine.
Yeah, I don't think anybody will see it, so we'll be okay. All right, Nerdvengers, Brokevengers, everybody in between, thank you guys so much for being here. Much love, and we'll catch you in the next one. As I always say, hope you are having an awesome and a nerdy day, and we will see you in the next video.
Take care.
Is everybody gone? So, all I'll say is there was a moment when the stream was glitching, And I was like, no, Feige! But they didn't kill it. And that is worth something. See ya!